Yes. Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. Hello. Good morning. Some friends from China, and good evening here in the US, and somewhere in between, good afternoon. Happy Lunar New Year. Welcome to our virtual East meets West musical dialogue concert and forum. My name is Daisy Zhongbei. I'm your host tonight. I am a music faculty and the director of the Confucius Institute at Alfred University. It's also known as CIAU. Our mission is to meet people's interests and needs for understanding Chinese language and culture, to the better serve Alfred University and our communities with a variety of cultural exchange programs. This year, CIAU is starting a new monthly virtual concert and forum series. We invite all of you to experience a music journey halfway across the globe. Our first concert tonight is just in time for Chinese New Year. So here, I want to thank our partners of CIAU, the China University of Geosciences, also called CUG, and the China International Education Foundation. Also, I would thank to our event co-sponsors, the Performing Art Division of Alfred University, the Music Department of CUG, the Cuba Circulating Library, the Honor Public Library, the Almond 20th Century Club Library, and the David Hall Library in Wellsville. Also, one more library, Woman Dawson Library in Canasteel. Thank you so much for their great support. I also have some housekeeping reminders. So first, this program is a mixture of music performances, presentation, and conversation. At the end of the program, there will be the Q&A session, so we encourage you to share your comments and questions to the chat box. We will have my colleague Susan Steere, who is the Assistant Director of CIAU, to address your questions. This program will be recorded and broadcast online, so the audience will be muted. But if you want to ask a question by yourself, please raise your hand during the Q&A time, and we will unmute you. Without further ado, let's start tonight's program by greeting our artists, the internationally famous musicians, Professor Gao Hong and Mr. Paul Dice.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Professor Gao Hong is the 2020 Global Music Award Golden Medal winner. Also, she's a Grammy voting member and the director of the Chinese Ensemble of Carleton College in Minnesota. Mr. Dice is an award winner composer and the president of International Friendship through the Performing Arts. So if you want to know more about them, you could read their bios in the chat box. I think our program assistant, Neria, she is here today, and she's now putting their bio for you to read in the chat box. So now, I would like to ask Professor Gao Hong to show us her instrument, pipa. Could you just show us your pipa and play a little something for us?
Sure. Thank you so much, Daisy, and thanks so much for all of you come to tonight. Happy Year of the Ox. And such a great pleasure to be here. My name is Gao Hong. Gao is my last name. Hong is my first name. But in China, we switch back. But Gao means high. Hong means rainbow. So if you ever had trouble pronouncing my name, just call me High Rainbow. I love the name. So today I'm going to show you this called the pipa, P-I-P-A. So pipa is about 2,000 years old. We have 4 strings. So I also have 5 artificial nails because a long time ago this string made of silk and glass. Right now we're made of a mix of metal with something outside, kind of like a guitar or violin strings. So we need the nails to protect, so that we have 5 artificial nails. Many people say that sounds like a guitar or banjo or mandolin. I say no, actually we're mixed. So many people say when you play the guitar, you pluck the inside like this. So you pluck like this, but Chinese people play upside way. You plucked toes out, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky, thumb, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how you play the pipa. Also, Chinese music always tell you stories, so the Chinese pipa can imitate the sounds. Example, flowing water. Or bubbly water. I see some girl there. They say, "Hey, that's fine." There, I can make it like sounds like a Chinese percussion band, dai dai dai, like a gong or the drum, dun dun dun, or simple cha 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 together. Or I can make it like a blow wind, like a very, very windy day. Or I can make a sound like a horse trotting. At the same time, play the melody on top. Please listen carefully, see if you can catch my horse. I can make it like a geese, like their geese talk to each other. Or I can make a cannon shot. Ouch. Or fireworks like a Chinese New Year. Or I can imitate the Chinese people talking. 你好吗？很高兴见到你。How are you? Nice to meet you. 很高兴见到您。Or I can make sounds like people laughing. Ha 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 ha. That's the Chinese people, right? It's very, very variety of song. I can make a battle, I can make a sword. It's a lot, but we don't have much time, so I cannot play all this song fact entire whole evening. So I'm going to play a very just like a normal Chinese minority music from Yi, dance of the Yi, how you feel the music.
Wow, what a beautiful song. Thank you so much, Professor Gao. That's just a really joyful, and I believe everyone here in the audience has a better understanding of the instrument now, right? So great. So I know that the pipa is called the Chinese lute, right? So is the pipa related to the Western lute in any way? Could you?
Of course, yeah. Actually, we all the percussive, like a 弹拨乐, which means like a oud, is 5,000 years old. Is we all came from the same family. The oud is about 5,000. Then they went to east, become a lute and guitar. Went to the west, became a lute and guitar. Went to east, become like a sitar and the pipa and zhongran, you know. So we are at the same family. So I remember Professor Wu wanted me share a little bit about the Chinese music history. So I'm going to do a little very quick PowerPoint and this show you pipa has 4 different style in current time, but my teacher is Lin Shicheng, the most famous pipa player. He had taught many famous pipa player in the world right now, and he passed away 2005. I was very fortunately became his student when I was very young at the 18 age. So we have a Pudong style, Pudong School, which is my teacher. Then we have a Chongming, Wang, and Pinghu. So I'm going to quickly to tell you my teacher's style is called Pudong. Pudong has very old, since 1736. Ju Shilin, it was the founder of the traditional, and later become Ju Maotang, that's his second cousin. Then we to Chen Zijing. Chen Zijing is the one actually was giving a pipa for the #1 pipa in heaven, in the world, by the Guangxu emperor. Then later went to Ni Qingquan, then Cao Jinglou, then went to Shen Hao, to my teacher's teacher, then to Lin Shicheng, and it's just unbelievable, the most richest son. So if you want to hear a little bit about my teacher, and I do have a little link to share with you, and he came here at 1996. I was very fortunate. Beside his son, he never ever toured with his student or recording CD at all. But this 3/6 of this music is our first debut, first concert, 1996. Okay, 1996 in Hawaii University. So I wanted to share this to everybody to hear the traditional music by my teacher and me in 1996. Can you imagine? He was 74, plays still beautifully, and everybody refer him as a Ravi Shankar on the pipa. So it's really, really amazing teacher I had. So I'm very fortunate to have that. And so if you want to hear more of our stories, you can come to the one of the website. It's called ChinesePeople.com, and eventually you'll see my teacher's story about how he was picked me from when I was 18, while I was in Hebei at that time, and then later we had the student teacher concert in Beijing Concert Hall. That was my 1992. I met my teacher. Here's the Central Conservatory. We got also very, very touching story. So if you ever have a chance to do it, just go to ChinesePeople.com. You'll see it, and that's.
Well, thank you so much, Professor Gao. That's just a very, I like the piece, the Sanliu 36. Can you explain what's this? I think because you said that the pipa is from the West, it's originated in the West, and what makes the pipa a traditional Chinese instrument?
So since we came from the Middle East, it is the true. But in the late Tang Dynasty, we have made the pipa holding upright. The most important, we play the repertoire different, and we made it more frets, and also we use the hand instead of the pick. If you ever go to Japan, the Japanese biwa still keep at 800 years like a Tang Dynasty. Now, the 3/6 we played is from the Jiangnan Sizhu, which means around the Shanghai area. As we always know, the Chinese music is really important on the dialect, how the local lifestyle. The Jiangnan Sizhu is more like a tea house of music, but this piece is Sanliu, is 3/6. Actually, is the reason I picked this piece is because it's perfect for Chinese New Year. 6 in China is very good luck, right? 六六顺. So, and the 3/6, so even though it's just a 牌子, they will say 3/6, but we can make it sounds better for Chinese New Year. 3/6, there's good luck.
Yes.
Good, better, and best. So wish you all the best.
Thank you. This piece is just amazing, and it's a great interpretation. It represents the traditional Chinese flair of pipa so well. It's a two pipa dialogue. It's also I was wondering, is this a piece from the album that you won the golden medal of the 2020 Global Music Award?
Oh, somebody is okay. Okay, yes, is this the one? I'm very lucky. In 1996, we released this album, and at that time, he just wanted to leave something for the legacy, and he was saying, told me, said, please, hopefully one day we can put this CD all over the world, everybody can know. So during the pandemic, and I found one of the piece in the basement. So I contacted the first CD we didn't have it, so that's Moonlight Over the Spring River, 春江花月夜 of Pipa and the Zhongran piece. Then I sent it, I just said, we have to release this. That was 20 years ago, my teacher wanted to be worldwide. Now I called the ARC Music in UK. Then they love the piece so much, so they released. Now we got the Global Music Award, the golden medal for the best album and the best instrumentalist. We also was on the Songline magazine in UK for the top 15 new world music chart. So it's very, very honored. I think my teacher is very happy right now.
I can see thank you for sharing that. It's a very what's a great achievement as a Chinese musician. I'm very proud of you too. So now I would like to ask some question and greet our another artist, Mr. Dice. I appreciate you so much for being here with us tonight.
Well, thank you for having me. This is great.
Yeah, I listened to your music and I really enjoyed some of your Chinese piece you made a lot. I really love it. It's I was curious how as you grew up from the US, right?
Yes.
You're a Western musician. So how did you become interested in composing for the Chinese instrument? Uh, would you show us some of your composition for the Chinese instrument?
Yeah, well, as a composer, you want to express different things. Sometimes you want to tell a story. Sometimes you want to express emotions, and sometimes there's an array of things that sometimes you want to just show the joy you find in nature and movement and sounds, and so there's all kinds of different things you want to express. And when I first heard Chinese instruments live, I was amazed by how different they sounded from Western instruments. And it was just, I actually went up to the orchestra leader after the concert and said, has anybody ever, from the West ever composed for Chinese instruments? And he said, it sounds like you're interested in that. And I said, yeah, I am very much. And he said, well, how about you do some research, write a paper about it, and write a piece. And so I did that. It took me about 6 months. I researched Chinese music every day and compiled a lot of different articles and stuff. And at that time, this was back in the 80s. So there was very, very little written in English, so I had to dig very deep. But once I did, I found that Chinese instruments can express different things than Western instruments, and sometimes much better, for me. So it's much better to use the Chinese instruments as opposed to Western, and sometimes I combine them both. So
that's great. I hope you can show us some music.
Yeah, this one, the piece you're going to play first is called Between the Stars. And it's an excerpt from it. It was a world premiere at Carleton College. And it just expresses how I love going out at night, looking up at the stars and trying to figure out what's going on up there, just using my imagination. But one day, I tried to imagine what was happening in between the stars in the places I couldn't see. And so that's what this piece is all about.
Well, bravo. I say the music is like just give us a journey, translate from one side of the world to another. So I see some Chinese style, some different countries.
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, one thing I realized recently is that everything I've ever listened to, experienced, throughout my whole life, it all comes out of my music. And I've listened to a lot of Chinese music, a lot of Japanese, Indonesian, and Western music, of course. And it just kind of all gets mixed up in a stew and comes out in my music. So.
And also I learned that you understand the instrument very well, and you know their techniques and how they're playing. So many different techniques. So you know the instrument so well. So you play that, try that on by yourself, or you read the books, or so how can you know the instrument so well? So use a different.
Well, we have a lot of them that I hear on a regular basis in our house. And also I've been to China at least 30 times. I kind of lost count at 30. And every time, we hear music and so it's, just listening and watching and studying. There's some things in English, much more now today than there were back in the 80s. But it's just fun. And the musicians are just incredible. They're the tops, so.
From your music, we can feel your experience, your journeys. So I'm curious about do you have is there any Chinese instrument that you like to compose for the most? I know some musicians have their favorite instrument to compose. Do you have some instrument you like the most?
Yeah, it's very odd because my favorite instrument is the guqin.
Oh.
Which is the ancient 7-string zither. That's a very, very quiet instrument, but it's also a bass register instrument. And I used to play trombone, and I used to play bass guitar and rock and jazz bands many, many years ago. And so but the guqin, there's so many more techniques and so many different sounds you can get out of it, so many different, playing styles. And it's just, it immediately attracted. I was immediately attracted to it. And I actually got a big, huge, thick book that I kind of call my Bible. It's all guqin music, and then there's CDs with it as well. And so I study it, and but I use in this next piece you're going to hear, this is an excerpt from a piece. I use the guqin in an unusual way. I actually use it in an ensemble. Usually guqin is played as a solo instrument. And so I use it in the ensemble kind of as the bass part, but it's a slippery bass part. It's just I just love the styles you can play on it. And so this is a piece that I call Father and Son Mock Fishing at Duck Creek. And it's because years ago, my father and I, when I was a young child, and we used to go to a creek near our house, and we'd walk through the woods, listen to the birds. There's a lot of scampering critters, squirrels and chipmunks and stuff running all around. And we just loved that. But we took these bamboo poles with strings attached, no hooks, because neither of us wanted to harm the fish. So we just sat there and pretended like we were fishing. We'd find a nice rock to sit on, and we were both very quiet people. We didn't talk much, but we both really enjoyed each other's company and just the serenity of nature. And so that's what this piece is all about, this next piece. And we only have audio of it, so hopefully it'll be a little louder, but let's see. Okay.
Thank you so much, Paul. That's a lovely. I love this piece. See.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
I can unmute everybody. You can hear us. So it's I bet everybody have the same feeling. It's not your childhood. You're Western people. You should be some Chinese. I can imagine this from the Asian China ink painting. I can imagine you wear the Chinese clothes in ancient time. It's more. I think this piece, this Guqin piece, is more like Chinese style than that one.
Well, you know, this is an example of one that I can only express in with Chinese instruments.
Yeah,
you know, this wouldn't be the same with Western instruments at all.
Yeah, the ensemble is so beautiful. I love the Guqin very much, and you know, we are here tonight in the audience some guzheng player, and you know, I'm teaching guzheng here, and some of we already heard that some part is using guzheng.
Oh yes, yes, of course.
And I can play your guzheng music. Do you have some piece for guzheng?
Yeah, you know, I don't, but I've got a wonderful idea for one, a solo guzheng piece at some point in time. I'd love to, yeah, I'd love to do that.
And also, thank you for sharing your music. And we all know you're the president of the International Friendship through the Performing Arts.
Yes, yes.
So, so first, my questions. Also, there is a phase like music is a universal language. How do you understand? How do you think this phase? And could you say something about your organization as the international friendship through the performing arts?
Okay, well, first, you know, about the music as a universal language. That's so true, because you can get together with people and you don't understand a word they say, but once they start playing music, you can feel what's in their heart, and you can feel, you know, how accomplished they are. You can sense the beauty of the music, and which, you know, with traditional music, you know, coming from a culture, all of a sudden you understand things about the culture without reading a book, you know, without talking with them. It just comes out through the music. So, and I see that quite a bit in the work I do with international friendship through the performing arts. We book, we promote, and we present concerts of musicians from all over the world. And we've done some very small things in libraries and retirement communities, but we've also done things in Carnegie Hall, Beijing Concert Hall, Ted Mann Hall locally at the University of Minnesota, and many other places. So it's just our joy and privilege to do that and to provide those opportunities.
That's an amazing job. So I would like to share the link so with our students here, and even some from China, they can look at your events and your concerts. That's just a gorgeous.
Sure.
International friendship through performing art, right? So
yes,
yeah, I will ask Neria if you could put the link to the chat box, or maybe Paul, could you put your link to the chat box?
Yeah, I will do that.
Our young musicians, artists can
later. Yes.
Yeah, that would be very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
So I hope to ask some question to Professor Gao Hong.
Okay.
So I know you graduated from the Central Conservatory for Music in Beijing, China, right? Which is a very top music school in China, and you got your job career in China, and you should have been your career in China should have very promising. So why did you come to the US, and when did you come?
Yeah, Oh, that's a long story too short. And after I graduated from Central Conservatory, and I decided to go to Japan to study Japanese biwa and the Chinese pipa. Then while I was in China, actually I met Paul. He was a delegation to China, and after he played, I was introduced by interpreter. A translator. Then after he heard me, and he right away said, "Would you want to come to our market for tour?" And actually, at that time, I was in Japan. Suddenly, here it was. Then, and about 2 years, and later, he said, Paul said, "I have a 10 cities tour for you if you're still available," which means New York City and the Cleveland, the Pittsburgh, and the Denver, all the stuff. So during this time, and the first concert when I came to America in 1994, I was playing at the Denver Museum, and the radio station said, "Please come to see the woman play the pipa." About 5 minutes later, and somebody called on the radio station and said, "How could this Chinese woman play the pipa?" They thought I was playing the vegetable. So, and I was very, very kind of discouraged. I said, "You know what? I am going to stay in America to try to promote Chinese music." That's the reason, and I stayed to America until now. I just think it's my passion for it.
Thank you so much. It's passion. It's also a romantic love story. So now everybody know Paul and Hong. They're husband and wife. So this is the reason why I plan for this event. So I hope we can start from a musician that's so like you. So Paul and you just perfect for the topic of our event, East meets West. You are East meets West every single day, your daily life. Thank you so much. And I know you had a tour performance in the US. So could you tell us your first performances and how was the audience? How did you introduce the instrument to them? Was difference than those in China, the performances or the playings?
Yes, very, very different because I did a solo concert. In China, if you do a pipa solo concert, you literally, because the pipa almost like a physical work, not just emotional play your fingers. It's actually your emotional heart. I remember after my concert with my teacher in Beijing Concert Hall, everybody asked me, "Are you hurt? Are you tired?" I said, "No." He said, "Where you?" I said, "But my heart really, really tired. My physically hurt. You know, that kind of thing." Because I still remember my most great memories in New York City at the World Music Center. 2 people came to me. One is on Long Island. There is a college professor, a retired professor. One is a Taiwanese Chinese lady. They both literally cried because they said, "We always heard pipa in the radio or watching the movie, but we never see how much motion you put in." One of the pieces called 陈信元和番 is about the young woman trying to, confuse her life, trying to take her own life. So all the expressive left hand with the pudong style, really, really different. And I was very shocked how American people can be so tolerate and easy to understand. That's the reason I always introduce the pipa. Doesn't matter if I play with the orchestra hall or with orchestra or I'm in a small library. Doesn't matter where I am. I always tell them, listen the story, follow the story, because that's the best way to integrate the Western music and the Eastern music together. If I didn't tell you that, if I make the sounds like a percussion band sound, they will think, oh, she made a mistake. So I don't want people to think about that. So that's the reason I'm always telling people how to listen to Chinese music. That's why I'm always trying to do that. Then, and for me, is how you lay the America to accept your music first. Then you can do more for them. And I think that's what my goal to trying to make everybody easier to connect the Chinese music.
Well, thank you for this. I when you talk about how the American audience to listen to your concerts and how you first introduce your instrument to them, I was curious about, did you play some American songs or American music? How would your instrument works for the Western piece on the, if you play a Western piece on pipa, I think that would be very cool if you play some American song.
Since I came to America, I have been playing not just traditional music because, like I said, it's very hard for them to bring them just to hear Chinese music. So I try to play with the blues, jazz, Indian musician, Japanese, Syrian, whatever I can find, bluegrass, whatever I find. But my biggest surprise for you, I can play the pipa, use a national anthem. Do you want to hear that? So I would invite.
Yeah, I listened to that for many times.
I was invited by the Timberwolf to play for the NBA Timberwolf in the stadium. So I always say it's not about what I play, where I play. At least I know I have 55,000 people in the stadium who saw the Chinese people as the first time. So that makes me very proud. It's not about me anymore. It's about how you bring the Chinese music into the Western audience. I remember everybody stood up trying to listen to, oh, here is a national anthem. Suddenly, all the basketball player and the audience here, what's that instrument? Everybody started to stare down. So I wanted to hear this. That's the 1997. Since then, I've been go back to every year until last year because of the pandemic. So here is the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your caps as we give our salute to America, presented by Super America. Joining us for tonight's national anthem, originally from Beijing, and a world-class performer on the traditional Chinese pipa, please welcome Gao Hong.
Wow, thank you so much. It's really powerful and impressive. Thank you so much. That's so I feel Steere, I saw this video for many times home as I'm a close friend with you. I've see you post this in your WeChat, in your blog. It's just what's amazing moment, and it's a very honorable moment actually. As a Chinese musician in the US, I feel so proud of that. I think that's just it's an amazing moment. It's a great honor. And also I feel the for this song you use what's the technique we call 扫弦 or swiping the strings, right? So you not use the only the way, so you the matching way, right? So you play, so you design the different technique. I can tell.
Thank you.
That's very that's really something feel always I feel so proud of that. So Professor Gao is also the oh Professor Gao is also the director of the Carleton College Chinese Music Ensemble, and also is very important to introduce you that because you're the Carleton College, you're in the Carleton College is the first higher education institution in the America that offer a Chinese instrument music major. So your student have bachelor's degree in Chinese instrument playing. So I think this is really a milestone, right, for the Chinese music education in America as a whole. So could you please introduce some your students program in Carleton College to us today?
Yeah, I'm very lucky. In 2008, I at Carleton was the first pipa player ever graduate as a music major on the Chinese pipa. So, and since then, now we're not just offering music major on Chinese instrument. Also minor too. So it's a really honor. This year is my 20th years working teaching full time at Carleton College. Here is our Chinese music ensemble play a little bit, I think. So that was because everybody know the piece, so I will make it shorter. Actually, today has a very interesting story. One of my soloist students submitted for the Chinese New Year for the American Embassy, the 芝加哥领事馆, the 芝加哥 Chinese Embassy. Suddenly, they heard our music and said, "Oh my gosh, Carleton Chinese music! They're amazing." So, but because of the half audience, we want your music as the opening. So I sent this, they said, "Oh, because the half audience won't be a good for a national thing. Do you have other thing?" I just sent the entire link. This person couldn't believe, and is the 领事, Liu 领事. said, I can't believe that Carlton nowhere in Northfield has this high quality of Chinese music ensemble. She couldn't believe it. So now she just got so excited. I wanted to know your teacher. So then she contacted my student contacted me. It just, I'm very, very lucky. A lot of students came to Carleton want to be a double major. None of them is just music major. They are either computer major or but they're double majors. And I have students graduated from Carleton, play beautiful guqin, beautiful guzheng. I have 3 guzheng minor already graduated and 2 pipa major. So now they're in PhD in MIT or PhD in Harvard, and I have a student, ARFU students now it's a tenure track in Cornell University in New York. So it's amazing, amazing Carleton College.
So thank you so much for sharing this. Your students are so amazing. And I like the song. Just now the 花好月圆 is just a very happy mood, bring us the Chinese New Year mood and so cheerful and joyful. It's a so here we have also I realize that we have some friends from another side of the world. They're celebrating the Chinese New Year. So I can see the names are Chinese. So they're sharing their holidays. I wish we can use this music and say Happy Chinese New Year to them. And we thank you for sharing the music. It's just perfect for the New Year celebration. And Hong, I have one more question. 2-3 more questions, I think. So that's what time. So I know you're as a very distinguished musician. You probably have many cooperation with other different countries musician and around the world. I know you did a lot of not only solo places, you play duet, you play chamber music ensemble with different musicians from all over the world. Could you show us some of your collaborations and some piece?
Sure. I've been play, like I said, play so many, but this one and also won the Global Music Award is from our world to yours. And it's from Syria, oud. That's the pipa. That's why you can hear the oud almost like a grandpa, the pipa more like a little daughter. So here is the conversation, and 100% of improvisation. No talk. We even don't know what's key. Nothing. We just listen from the heart. Here is the excerpt a little.
wonderful. It's so many different styles the people can play, and also this two lute, just perfect fit, right? Yeah.
I think it's like
so
a
much.
granddaughter at the conversation. The most important thing, our music never, ever repeat because we can't. Because everything we refuse to talk, even no key, nothing, even don't say the sad or slow, nothing. Just listen. That's why I say the music is connected from the heart. And everybody thought we rehearsed. I said no, there's no rehearsal, nothing, no rehearsal at all. Just made music on the spot.
Very, very fresh. I say that. Thank you so much. That was really great, and it's a so I have some so thanks you show us the play you was
Sorry.
yeah, we want to listen it again. That could be our background music. We're very good for chat actually. I thought you play that for background, then we can talk. So I hope I can have a cup of tea and or coffee with us. That's wonderful. So here's the tea time. So I have a question for both of you. As a East Midwest musician couple, what did you got from each other, and what you gave to each other's music arts? So the impact or influence as Hong as a Chinese musician and Paul is a Western musician from America. What do you give each other, and what's the impact or influence to each other's artwork?
I think it's I learned so much from Paul, how he's a big heart, because the reason he brought me to America is not because he want to marry me, because when we first met, I couldn't speak a word of English, or we through a translator. So that was, and also the translator told Paul he's my fiance. So he didn't want to marry to me at that time, but the reason he wanted to help me because his teacher, the Lou Harrison, one of the most famous composer in America. People call him as the Asian father of Asian music, because he helped Paul, and Paul wanted to pay his tuition, but Paul, then his teacher said, no, if you find someone can help others, then please help them. That's my tuition. So I learned so much from Paul, because since I came to America for 27 years, so I always trying to helping people. If I could, we have a Chinese word called 水涨船高. If everybody started to doing well, the Chinese community, the Chinese musician, all doing well, then we have a better position. So every other year I will bring top musician from China, and I have this concert series. And the Paul's organization has been doing amazing in support of many of, besides the Chinese musician and gamelan musician, and the Mexican and the Ghana, whatever it is. So I think I learned so much from them. And since I couldn't speak a word, our love story is really funny, because we fall in love. And when he proposed to me, and he learned from his teacher, but forgot learn how to answer it. When he asked, 你愿意嫁给我吗? In Chinese, I said, 我愿意, which means, will you marry to me? I said, yes.
上去了。
Yeah, he didn't understand.
Oh.
He didn't at all. So, and if you really wanted to know more of our how we influence, I think I really did a lot of good things from Paul. And I put this big letter there. It's Gaohong on the highway. I wanted to everybody to watch this, how as immigrants, how difficult you couldn't understand the word, and you couldn't know how to drive. So this life story, please, if you wanted to take a screenshot. The reason I'm saying that, because I've been pulled over 20 times more. But each time the policeman let me go because I was so stupid, they just couldn't believe it. They would let me go. So that's the one thing is funny. So I'm scared to put it for the public because I worry if a policeman saw it, they may give me tickets. So I put this secret link. You only have to type in this in, but I only gave about a handful of people, but now it's over 200 views. I don't know why, but I'm sure it's funny. It's about 30 minutes for laughing. Then other one called Chinglish, because I couldn't speak a word. Or our wedding, we had a two interpreter. Because I couldn't understand what he said. I was just joking. We've been married for 27 years. The first 20 years, we never fight. Unmuted. Okay. Now can you hear me? Okay. So I just want to say the Chinglish is our love story. You can hear how we support each other, how we trying together to promote Chinese music in East the Midwest. We wanted to build the bridge with music. I think that really helped me a lot for that. I think that's from me. Paul is never talk too much because I talk all for him. So Paul, do you want to say something? You need to unmute. I guess he doesn't know how
There
to.
we go. Okay. Yeah, from my perspective, it is very interesting, especially during the pandemic now. She's teaching at home, and I hope her students aren't listening because I can listen in sometimes, and it's really educational for me to hear her teach. She's got a very gentle teaching style and very encouraging, and just see the response and the improvement just within the lesson of the students. And I learned a lot about the instruments that way, but from the very beginning, she's an incredible composer as well. And so from the very beginning, we used to collaborate little bits on, like her first Pipa concerto I orchestrated for her, except she dictated everything. She says, I want this here, this here, this here, and this here. And so it was my job to put them in, but so we collaborated that way as well. But later on, I find me more giving her my pieces to say, okay, what's wrong with this? and she's got the perfect ear and perfect eye for not, I won't say slicing things down, but editing things. Yeah, I think that's a better word. So, I mean, we're constantly going back and forth, and she has always had these crazy, unbelievably impossible ideas. And both Gao Hong and the Highway and Chinglish, when she first presented those to me, it was like, what? How are you going to do this? And she always comes through. And my job mainly is, especially with international friendship through the performing arts, is to try and find the money to get them done. I mean, some are funded by other people, but if not, we still want to make them happen. And so that's how that works. But I learned so much from her, meeting so many of her friends. When we go to China, it's so much music, so much fun. And it's just kind of nonstop learning for me because the people are so kind. Chinese musicians have always been very kind to me and helpful, and so I'm always learning a lot. But the only way I know all these people is because of my wife. And another thing we did, I was the editor of the English editor, one of the English editors for her Pipa method book, the first Pipa method book ever in English that ended up being published worldwide by Hal Leonard, which is a huge publishing company. And so I got to read, all this stuff she had written, and it was just, so so educational for me. And then also, in the end, she put this little section for composers, and so it's unbelievable because you can see how to write things down, but you can also hear all the sounds because there's an audio online that you can when you get the book. So I'm constantly learning. Actually, every day I'm learning new things from her, and doing fun things like this. I mean, this is a great platform. I really enjoy this, and so does she. I can tell.
Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I for this question, I was curious about what makes you so successful. What you learn from each other. I feel after you tell the story, it's kind of like, oh, this is not anything about the technique, the skill, the knowledge. In the end, I think this in the end, I feel that every achievement, a successful and beautiful career that's built on the personality, your value of the word, your value of the life, your I mean, as a human being, first you found the beauty. So the music and the art is a beauty. So you first like a beautiful people, then you give other people your kindness. So that's quite a some thing that give us an idea that from if you want to be a successful musician, just first be a very kind person, a wonderful, nice person, and give things to others. So thank you for this all this life stories. That's a very warm heart. Yeah, you warm heart people. Thank you so much. This is such a great stories. So time so fast, and I have a last question I have tons of questions honestly to ask for both of you, but I'd like to end the interview, a kind of like conversation between us, and give the time for the Q&A. So before we go to the Q&A, I would like to ask one more question to Professor Gao. We know you are the voting member for the Grammys. So tonight, I think some of the young musicians, they have ambitions. One day they want run for it, so they will be alumni for Grammys. Do you have some suggestions for them? What your standards or criteria to vote them? So what's the music for you is good for the Grammy, and you have some maybe your advice or suggestions for the young musicians? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Actually, for me, it doesn't matter what you play. It doesn't matter what you play, violin or piano or flute or pipa, guzheng, whatever you play, just from your heart, the original, the authentic, that's the organic, that's what I will say. Doesn't matter how your technique, like Daisy said, it's not about your techniques. Techniques is only to serve for express your feelings. If you have a wonderful techniques, if you say, okay, I have a wonderful techniques, we don't need you because we can use a computer. Computer is better than your techniques. But the only reason we're better than the computer is because we are, as an individual artist or musician, express yourself. How can you stand up to different from others? I'm sure you want to learn from your teacher. When I teach my student, I won't say, okay, you have to do exactly what I do. I don't do that. I did one note to one note, one precise to precise each note. But I say, here's the idea of that. I want you digest it and to change to your own expressed feelings. How can you do this? So as any of musician, we all know heart. Use your heart. Use your true feeling of music. Of course, you have to have a good techniques. If you don't have a good techniques, even you have a wonderful emotional, you can't do it, that won't work. So my mom usually locked me 8 hours a day when I was young in China. So I'm not expecting you to practice 8 hour a day, at least a couple hour a day. So for young musician, like I always say, be brave, and also treasure every opportunity. It doesn't matter what it is. It's not about events. Not to say I'm in Carnegie Hall or not I'm in a small tiny daycare. It's not about the venues. It's not about what you play. It's how you express yourself. That's the most important. So be brave, be kind, and try your best. And I always believe if you try hard, then you will get a reward.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Gao. Then, wow, time so fast. And we have this just good ending for your best wishes. And now we have 10 more minutes for this event. I hope first, if Professor Gao, if you can stop your screen share, please, and then we can see all our friends' faces. First, thank you. First, I hope Susan can pick up some questions from the chat box to address the questions if we have ones from audience. Susan, are you here?
Yes. The only questions that I've seen so far are two questions that go together. Where will people be able to find the recording after this is over? And will the recording be on the International Friendship Through Music website?
Well, actually, this recording of this event, you have to contact Alfred for that, Alfred University. We'll probably be getting it from them at some point in time, but I think they'll be distributing it themselves.
Yeah, the recording, we hope, because this is all in English. And also some friends from China, because this is a Chinese instrument, I think some friends, family members, or students from Professor Gao's and also from our partner universities, China University of Geosciences, the music students, they hope can also watch it, can have a chance to learn from our musicians. So I think our technical assistant Neria will have this recording and we will edit it. Hopefully we can have both English and Chinese subtitles, and then we put it in our social media, which is, I think in China will be Youku, and in American will be the YouTube. So we will post it as soon as possible, and we will send you the link. And if you have, I think, Neria, would you mind to post your email address to the chat box? And our friends who here today can, because this is an event, every month we have our invite our musicians from the East and the Western culture, then we will have a dialogue. So if you want to follow up for the next event, you want to have a chance to don't miss it, to please send an email to Neria, and we hope to can have a group email to send out the information, the invitation for the next month. Thank you so much. And also, I think if our audience really like Paul and Hong's piece, we can, our Confucius Institute have some in the Henry collaborating in Alfred University, we have our Confucius Institute book sessions. So we can purchase some or your albums. We buy some albums and put in our library, and then we can have our members, our community members, and also our students can borrow that from the library, and then we can have your music CDs or.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Great.
Thank you for the question.
Any questions? And I'm here for you. Anything. And not English, so anything's fine. I always say I speak Chinglish, but anyway, so anybody have questions? Or somebody wanted me play 十面埋伏，特别想听现场。So it's very, very difficult through Zoom. That's the reason we played on the video rather than use it because it's door. You know the sound is not good. But please do when the COVID finish, please do come to see live concert.
Great. Thank you so much. I feel when you play the national anthem in the NBA opening, the some technique actually from the 十面埋伏, right? The swiping strings.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to be a strong.
It's very, very powerful. Very powerful.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great. So also here I see Professor Pat from Bard College. I would like to introduce her to our audience. She will be our next month's guest artist. She's famous flutist. So hi, Pat. Thank you for joining us. And also, I see one of my students. She's now in another side. She's in Europe, right? Sonia, are you in England?
Yeah, I'm in Scotland. Yeah.
Oh, she's in Scotland. So this is this concert really bring people from all the world together to celebrate the Chinese New Year with the music. Thank you so much, Sonia. She is also a guzheng player and everything, yeah, brings us together. So thank you so much for joining us, and we hope have a good night. And we will send out our information for the next event. And please make sure you just follow up the AU announcement. Also, we'll put our information to Alfred Song, which is our local newspaper, and you'll see our posters. And also, if you want to keep in your group email, please email to Neria, and she just posted her email address, I think. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy Chinese New Year, and have a lucky and happy year of Ox. And see you next month, which is March 17th. I think because the time changes is to the daylight saving time, so there will be a 12 hours from the East time to the Beijing time. So from next month, our event from March 17th, the night, our event will be 8 o'clock, so that in Beijing time, they can see us at 8 o'clock in the morning. So thank you so much for joining, and goodbye. Have a good night and have a good day. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for having us. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Hong, and thank you, Paul. What an amazing night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Playing on your phone.